Good morning, dear students. How are you? Are you ready for our video? Okay, let's start. And we are going to start with grammar. Okay, our lesson today will be about present perfect simple tense. But first of all, we must note the usage. Usage number 1. We use the present perfect to talk about an action started in the past and still happening now. For example, he has lived in Egypt for 10 years. Usage number 2. We use the present perfect for actions which happened in the past but the exact time is not mentioned. For example, she has been to London. Usage number 3. To express an action started and just finished. For example, she has just finished her homework. Number 4. To express an action started in the past and has an effect on the present. For example, I have broken my arm, so I can't write. So what about the forms? The infinitive forms here, the affirmative form here is with I, you, they, and we put it plus have plus verb pp. And with he, she, or it came with or plus has plus verb pp. And the negative form with I, you, they came plus have plus not plus verb pp. And with he, she, or it, they came plus has plus not plus verb pp. And the question form here, we start with have plus you or they plus verb pp. What about the keywords of our tense? The keywords here are just, already, since, for, yet, never, ever, still, recently, and lately. But when exactly we can use since and for? We can use since to talk about a starting point, specific time. For example, I haven't seen him since last week. And we can use for to talk about duration of an action. For example, she has lived for 9 years. And here yet, we can use yet at the end of negative sentences and questions. For example, she hasn't done her homework yet. Or, have they eaten lunch yet? What about still? We use still in the negative sentences before haven't or hasn't. For example, I still haven't written the letter. Never. We use never to talk about things you haven't done at any time in your life. We use it after have or has. For example, she has never cooked Chinese food before. Ever. We use ever in questions after the subject. For example, have you ever been to Egypt? Number 7, just. We use just to talk about actions that happened a short time ago. We use it after have or has. For example, I have just seen the movie. Number 8, ready. We use it to say something happened sooner than expected. For example, I have already spent my salary. And here we have an important note, and it is the difference between been and gone. Been means that the person has been to a place and he came back. For example, Sam has been to London, so here it means he came back. Gone means that the person has been to a place and he is still there. For example, Sam has gone to London, so here it means he's still there. Okay, it's plus time plus sense plus subject plus past simple. We can use sense like this form. For example, it's 2 years since he visited me. So here I can put sense and before it a time, and after sense we use the past simple. For example, again, it's 2 years since he visited me. Okay, we finished the grammar. Now we are going to start the novel, The Prisoner of Zander. Here we have a summary about all the chapters that we have already took them in the school. The summary about chapter 1. Radolf Rassendel's sister-in-law, Rose, urges him to do something useful with his life. Lord Persden, Rassendel's brother, tells Rassendel that he has found him a job as an assistant to Sir Jacob, an ambassador to Ruritania, as the job will only start in 6 months. Rassendel decides to attend the coronation of King Radolf V, which is to take place in Strelso, Ruritania. This is about chapter 1. Chapter 2. Rassendel leaves for Ruritania by train. He meets his friend in Paris. His friend tells him about Antoinette de Maupin, who is also traveling to Ruritania on the same train. The coronation has been brought forward. Rassendel is unable to get a room to stay in Strelso. He decides to spend the night at a small hotel in Zander, a small town about 50 miles from the capital. He hears about the king, Duke Michael, or Black Michael, and Princess Flavia, and the fight for the throne. And this is about chapter 2. Chapter 3. The next morning, Rassendel takes a walk in the forest. He meets Colonel Sapt and friends. They serve King Radolf and are loyal to him. They tell him that he looks exactly like their king, except that he has a beard. At the moment King Radolf appears, he is stunned by the resemblance between himself and Rassendel. The king invites Rassendel to the hunting lodge where he is staying. They have dinner and a few drinks. Joseph, a faithful servant of the king, walks in with a bottle of wine, a gift from Duke Michael. The king finishes the wine all by himself. Chapter 4. The next morning, they discovered that the king has been drugged. The drug was in the wine sent by Duke Michael. Since both the king and Rassendel look alike, Sapt suggests that Rassendel takes the place of the king and attends the coronation. Friends think it's a good idea too. Rassendel agrees to take the king's place. Rassendel shaves his beard and wears the king's uniform. The king is hidden in a cellar, and Joseph is to look after him. The old woman who cooked for them is tied up and left in another cellar. They take the train to Strelso. Several ministers and the head of the army of Ruritania are introduced to Rassendel. No one realizes that he is not the real king. The coronation procession begins. And this is about chapter 4. Chapter 5. The people of the new town give the king a rousing welcome. There is hardly any trouble in the old town. Rassendel rides bravely down the streets and wins the hearts of the townspeople. The procession stops at the cathedral for the coronation. Rassendel is crowned king. Then Rassendel meets Black Michael and Princess Flavia for the first time. The princess tells him that she finds him rather different. Black Michael leaves for Zander. Both Sapt and Rassendel also leave for Zander. They use a secret passage to leave the palace. They ride towards Zander. Along the way, they see Duke Michael and Max Holf, Joanne's brother, ride towards the castle. At the lodge, Rassendel and Sapt find the old woman is missing and Joseph was dead. The king is missing too. And this is about chapter 5. And now we finished. So, see you next time. Goodbye.